Everybody, welcome back to Miami Minute, where we cover my favorite team, the Miami Dolphins. Best thing I can say about this game against the Green Bay Packers was at least Jalen Waddle had a good game. What a disappointing moment to be a Fins fan. After being 8-3, controlling our destiny, as it were, to win the AFC East over the last month, the month of December, the Dolphins have completely collapsed. And I mean, I believe it was after the Chargers game, I made a reference to feeling like, oh, this is hopeless. This is like exactly what happens every single year. The Dolphins have a chance to make the playoffs and they collapse in December. But I carried a more optimistic tone at that point. I'm no longer optimistic. After leading 20-10 and having the opportunity to potentially go into halftime 23-10 or 27-10, Mostert, he fumbled. The Packers were able to get a field goal. The Packers were able to tie it up first possession of the second half. And after that, the Packers added two more field goals to eventually win 26-20. The Dolphins offense in the second half, after being very good in the first half, explosive, Tua looked sharp, he's making good decisions, completely and utterly imploded. Everyone who watches these Miami Minutes knows that I'm a big Tua fan, of course. I've defended him plenty, and I can't defend him in this game at all. Having three interceptions on three straight drives is indefensible, and it's just disappointing because we've been there. We've seen this as Dolphins fans. If you're like me, you hoped that this was the year things would be different, given how well they started out. But with 2 games left, it feels like another complete collapse. And if they do collapse, I'm not entirely sure what will happen. Will Mike McDaniel even be safe? I feel like that's up in the air. Will Tua be the starter going into next year? If he keeps playing how he has 3 out of the last 4 games, absolutely not. So, with that being said, let's get into the recap of this game. Tua, for his part, went 16-25, 310 yards, 1 touchdown, and as we said, those 3 incredibly costly interceptions. Raheem Mostert led the way on the ground with 8 carries for 45 yards. Jeff Wilson had 9 for 37 and 1 touchdown. Jalen Waddle exploded, 5 for 143 and a touchdown, including a long, I believe it was 84-yard touchdown. Tyreek Hill had another solid day, 4 for 103, and Trent Sherfield had 2 for 25. Mike Gesicki had 1 for 24. He showed up after a controversial week where it was leaked, him talking to Dawson Knox, the tight end for the Bills, and saying that he was glad that the Bills were using him, which, the Dolphins are not. And there are certainly reasons, but it is disappointing considering how well he played the last few seasons for this team. The defense was okay. Obviously, they lost, so they weren't great, but they also were put in some bad positions. Right off the bat, the special teams unit let off a huge return that would, end in a field goal, which is great. They had the 3 interceptions and the fumbles. Those led to points as well. The defense, they were just in bad positions. They can't stop teams seemingly on third down, so that's bad on its own, but I'm not going to put this on the defense. This was entirely on the offense, Tua and Mike McDaniel for not coming up with anything creative in the second half and allowing the offense to completely stagnate. What a disappointing time to be a Dolphins fan. And I know if you're a Dolphins fan watching this, you feel the same way as me. The Dolphins can still make the playoffs. They have to beat the Patriots and beat the Jets. Both those games are winnable. The Jets are in complete disarray. The Patriots are not too far behind with their controversies. But the Dolphins, on this 4-game losing streak, are not that far behind either of those teams in terms of collapsing. So, will I sit here and say that the Dolphins should win comfortably? No. Earlier in the season, I would have said that these were slam dunk wins, but earlier in the season, this Green Bay game looked like it probably would have been an easy win as well. It's always unfortunate to believe that things are going to be different and then to watch them remain relatively the same. But that's just where we are. Granted, we're not getting completely blown out of these late season matchups, but we are losing them, so there's really no difference at the end of the day. I don't know what the answer is. I know like the knee-jerk reaction and the reaction that I've kind of been sitting with the last couple of hours after the game ended was maybe we do need to upgrade at quarterback. I don't know exactly how the Dolphins can do that, given that they don't have a first-round pick next year, maybe future first-round picks, maybe package Tua in a deal. Who would want Tua right now, though, is another question that would need to be answered. Please, in the comments below, let me know if I'm being too dramatic here. I don't feel like I am. I feel like I've given the Dolphins, the benefit of the doubt the last 3 weeks, Tua just had a somewhat off game. He missed throws that he should make against the 49ers. He won't do that again. Oh, there were a lot of drops in the Chargers game. Granted, Tua just played straight up bad other than that. But you know what? That's not who he's shown to be in the last, 9 games of the season. So we can't expect that. Oh, Tua played really well against the Bills, but you know what? They didn't get it done. So now to have Tua start off playing very well, throwing confidently, making these tight window throws, only to collapse at the end. And, it brings up those memes of Tua turn the ball over, which, before this, he only had 5 interceptions. Now he had 8 and 3 in this game. But it sucks. It's an unfun situation to be a part of. And I feel bad for Dolphins fans just because it feels like this is just what happens every single year that the Dolphins have a somewhat competitive team. They find a way to screw it up, and it's especially strange and feels almost curse-like because it's not like these teams are coached by the same people. It's not like they're the same players for each team. But Adam Gase collapsed. Brian Flores horrifically started off last season and then lost the game in Tennessee that they really needed to win that ultimately knocked them out of the playoffs. And then now Mike McDaniel, after starting off so strong and looking like a potential coach of the year, certainly a smart hire, they've collapsed once again. And, it sucks. It's a painful experience as a fan. But, I'll be here next week and the week after, hoping that the team will make the playoffs after having such a high percentage chance 4 weeks ago to make the playoffs. To completely collapse like this, it won't feel great to sneak in there, but, in the playoffs, I guess anything can happen. Granted, this isn't saying that I feel confident that the Dolphins have what it takes to beat the Jets and the Patriots. It feels like one of those games is just set up extremely well to end in heartbreak. Other than that, I don't have much else to add. Just a disappointing game. It took a lot to work myself up to make this video and not just come on here and be like, fuck the Dolphins. These suck. Everything sucks. All the players suck. I hate this. I hate football. Because that certainly was the initial reaction. But, it's okay. It's Christmas, right? There's other things to focus on. And while this doesn't feel great, it just is what it is. We'll continue to see how the season goes. We'll take the next 2 games as they come And then depending on the outcome of them, we will see what the Dolphins do in the offseason. I don't necessarily expect them to stand pat. They've been extremely aggressive. They have put talent on their roster, and I don't think they're going to just kind of be like, well, this is the roster we have now. Nothing else we can do. So we'll see what happens. As for you watching this, thank you so much for checking it out. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, we cover all the 4 major sports and the Premier League on this channel. We have Miami Minutes every single week, and we just have a lot of videos, a lot of fun. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.